This is our demo site. And so all the data on this site is, of course, temporary and training data. And we'll add more data as we're going through this training. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of information at one time. So I'm going to try to go in order of all the items so that if you need to go back down the road, you can easily find something. First thing we're going to do is log in. And all our sites, you just add admin to them like that, and then you can log. All right. And logged in. Okay. First thing it's going to do is take you to the dashboard. And the dashboard is going to be what everyone will see in some form or fashion. Even clients have their own little dashboard on the client side. So, of course, you have your sitemap status. This is when the sitemap was last generated. This has become very important now. Google really wants a sitemap submitted for your client's websites. So when a client gets a website built and everything's going good, and as they add pages, they will need to generate a sitemap and submit it to Google. They have to verify their site with Google first, and then they can submit the sitemap, and then Google will start indexing it. It will probably give them issues on 404 pages, which are called soft 404 pages. Yeah, soft 404. What those are is MLS data comes and goes constantly. So whenever you have a listing show up, that listing, of course, could be there today and sold tomorrow. So it might go away if you don't have sold data on the site. So that being said, we make those 404 pages so that the Google knows that those aren't permanent pages. That's what that's for. But so needless to say, though, you want to regenerate your sitemap. Whenever you're doing blog posts or creating new pages, you want to regenerate your sitemap and submit that to Google. Once you've done the initial time, Google should automatically know. And then when you generate it, what it's doing is there's a file. I'll just take you to this since this is the first thing we saw. This is where it will take you from the dashboard. And this is the file it will create. The domain /sitemap/sitemap.xml. And this XML file is what you actually submit. You actually submit this to Google when you're doing the submission for them. And then every time you click generate, it will generate and update the sitemap and update this code. And since this is submitted to Google and this is what gets updated, then Google will automatically have the newest pages. That's what it does. It just goes through, the generate just goes through and builds all the pages and creates these files here for the pages is what it is, or compressed files. And then Google will then read this and see all the newly generated content. This is just your MLS status on what's going on with the MLS data on the site. Listings being added. And this, of course, is listings being removed and added here. And this is just good for our clients in case there's something going wrong. If these bars ever go straight line, then obviously there's a problem with the feed. We have a whole bunch of mechanics in place as well to watch these feeds and know what's going on as well. But it's nice to have that in case something does happen and we miss it, which is unusual, but it can happen. This is just your recent leads coming in and all that kind of stuff. This is your modification pages. And you'll notice that these have little, you can move these around and reorder them. All right, so going back to this, most recent logins, this shows you the most recent logins of users. This shows you who's on, what users are online. This is just your contacts, your daily contacts, yearly, et cetera, et cetera. And it's your lead groups. You can create lead groups. We'll get down to that when we get to the agent section. These are your forms, what forms you're using on the site and how many entries have been submitted to those forms. And this, of course, is our announcements that we put up that show up on your site too. So it's a good place to go to see our announcements and things like that and keep up with what's going on in our system and as well. It's kind of like an overview. Then we go into leads. All right, we have two types of leads in our system. Leads are leads with an account and leads without an account. And that's pretty much it. You can see all leads. These are going to be leads with or without an account. And what it pretty much means is a lead without an account, if someone's looking on the site and they do fill out the contact form, but they haven't registered, they would be a lead without an account. As soon as they do register on the site, they will become a lead with an account. And that just means they can log in pretty much. But the system does track them if they're allowing cookies. Their properties are looking at in their saved searches so that when they do create an account, they'll have that information and it won't be lost. That does not track any personal information. You can see here by looking at, you can actually sort by all your leads and stuff. I only have one lead in this demo, but you can sort them by name, date, and all that kind of stuff. And you can also do a display and show which fields you want to see, stuff like that. Toggle those off and on. You can see, you can filter your leads and say, I want to see all of them from a certain date, time, et cetera, et cetera. And whatever you filter it by, like let's say you want to see all leads based on a certain last name or by agent. And then once you've done that filter, you can then export, and it will only export those leads. Okay, so that way, if you want to import them into something like Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that, you can do that with the export. We do have, of course, you can actually do CC carbon copy emails and send them to other systems like Follow Up Boss. And we also support Zapier. And we're getting ready to release a very broad Zapier system that actually will not just zap leads, but it actually will zap anytime leads add new favorites, save searches, and continuously zap information for leads to keep other systems up to date, which is going to be more advanced Zapier system. And that will be out very soon, like it's almost done. And then you have lead account. So if you want to go to a leads account, this is a new lead account. You can create a new one. If you want to add a lead manually to the system, you can do that. And you can actually create their ad save searches. And I'll show you that in a second too. And you can tag all your leads, which is handy. You can actually tag them, and then you can filter by the tags, which is also nice. Excuse me. So if you want, so once you tag a lead, you can then go and say, I want to see all the leads for a certain thing, and it will then find those tags. So if you want to tag your leads with a sold to them tag, or maybe you did a Mount Pleasant or a Grand Dunes sales and you want to tag them that way, and then you can sort by all the people that were Mount Pleasant or Grand Dunes. That's what tags are really handy for that. This is just your ledger here for past days, and this actually shows up more once we're looking at a lead. So let me just go to this demo lead real quick. It doesn't have a lot of information, but I can show you a little bit. When you're looking at a lead, you can edit their account. You can add saved searches. You can add favorites if you want as an agent. And the lead can do these things as well. But if you're as an agent, you want to set, if someone called you on the phone and said, Betty, can I have you set me up a saved search for such and such? You can go and do that and then click here, type in the name, and put the query in for that saved search. And we have videos on how to do the add a lead and save searches. It's really easy. They can go in and actually also right here, where you see this date here, this will be a more or less a login itinerary. Every time they've done an inquiry on the site or about a listing or something, it will show up here, each one they've done. This here is your notes. If you want to add notes to a lead, you could do that. The administrators and stuff can see these notes, which is good. This is email history. This actually will show the email history of property emails going to a lead. So if Betty was to go on the website and set up a saved search for any new homes that show up in Isle of Palms, for example, from 250,000 to 500,000, every day the system will check that saved search. And if there are any listings new that she hasn't received, it will send her an email. And those email subscriptions will show up here. And this will tell you, when those things were sent out. And also there'll be a link to them that you can click on, that you can actually go see the more details, what we call subscriber, right here you see subscriber email tracking. And it will tell you when she opened the email, how long she had the email open, things like that, which is kind of nice. All right. This is your property view history. This is where these tags really come into handy here. And what it's showing you, this is a demo, but what it's showing you here is it's showing you when they looked at properties, what the average they were looking at for the properties they looked at, what the averages were, which is a great glance to know exactly what they're looking for. And you can see how long ago they looked at them. And of course, you can click here to go and view that property as well if you want to see it, if it's still around. Okay. This is their search history. This is any searches that they've performed on the system. And you can actually have access to all of them. Now, this doesn't look like anything important, but if you click the plus sign, it'll tell you more. See, and you can see it breaks it down. I'll minimize that one and tells you exactly what they're doing. You can also click this link and it will go and perform that search. So it actually will go and do that search for you if you want to, so you can actually see exactly what they did. This is your saved searches and favorites. This one might not have any, it doesn't. Whenever a client goes to a property, they have the ability to save a search and a favorite on a property. So if they're registered, especially. So when I'm looking at a property here, if I want to do, let's do a city search. Let's see, Garden City. This is actually set up for Myrtle Beach, so not Charleston. But you can see here, I can go in, let's say I'm a client looking around. I can go in and change this to grid mode if I want. I can change it to show a map here. This is, of course, dev. And then I can change the sort, and it will cookie this. So next time I come back, that's how it will be for me. And then I can go and look at these properties. So if I want list view on these properties, which I go one by one, and I can look at these properties, and it will watch what I'm doing and keep up with the properties. When I click on a property and goes to the detail, I am viewing that property. That's exactly what's going on there. So I'm actually viewing that listing. If I click that heart here, or if I click the heart here, it will add that property as a favorite. And what that means is when I'm adding a property as a favorite, the system every day will check in the morning and see if the property's status or price has changed. And if it has, it will then send an email to the client, letting them know that the property for that favorited property has, the information for that favorited property has changed and what's changed, which is nice when you're watching properties. The other thing that they can also do when they're looking at a listing, if they want, is they can go in and let me find a good, they can click on more info. And if they're not registered, this would be one of the things that would create a call to action to, send it. It comes in and it would still log in that list of, hey, they requested information about this property. If they have lenders on the site, they can click that as well. And then the lender will get sent an email of the property, their information here. This is all testing information, their information here, and any comments as well. So the agent and the lender would get sent an information. And most lenders will show up if you have one. They're going to show up here. Now, I don't have anything fancy here, no pictures or anything, but there's a lender set here, a fake one. So that's how that is working there. You have your schedule a tour, same thing for schedule a tour. It will just pop up when you want to see it. And you can also send that to the lender if you wish. Pretty much to give the lender a heads up what's getting ready to happen. This has the property history tab, the map tab, and this is all on the client side on what the client can see. The street view, sorry, this is all dev. So of course, Google's giving me dev notices. And then bird's eye view, if you wish. These are just different views. And we also have one called a walk score. If you have a walk score key, you can add to it as well. Put walk score tab will show up here too. And this is just related listings here. And these are just listings that are related to that property. And the client can turn these off and on if they wish. All right, so going back. So that's kind of an overview of leads. And then of course you can actually view leads with accounts, leads without accounts, all leads here. Add a new lead. And this is the subscriber email tracking. It won't show us anything because it's a demo site. Mike could show you something on another site, but pretty much it's just going to be what data is there for the emails that have gone out when they clicked on them, when they were looking at them, things like that. This is lead groups here. Yeah, this lead subscriber tracking takes a while because it's loading in third-party data. As you can see, I guess it did load some stuff up. Look at that. That's lead groups. Sorry. That's lead groups. Okay. So let me go back here. There it goes. Okay. So it loaded up what it could. I mean, obviously there's nothing going out from a dev site, but you can get an idea. It would show a summary of all of them here. And you can see bounce rates, which is emails that have gone out that bounce back or bounced away from the client. They can see them, the sent, the opens, all that kind of stuff. Some good stats. Going back to lead groups. Okay. Lead groups is where you can actually create groups for leads. And you can actually put leads in groups. That's all that is. You're just grouping your leads if you want. It's not something you have to do. It's just something for organization in case clients want to do it. Tags. This is where you manage the tags and add more tags that are used in the leads. That's all this is more or less tag management. I'll go really quick, I'll back up here real fast when I'm on demo. And you can see here where it says tags none. If I click edit, it'll pop up and I can add tags. Like I could say sold as a tag if I have one. And if you just put sold as a tag, is it not there? So first thing you're going to want to do is go here and create sold as a tag to be used. Oh, crud. Sorry. I can't type today. What is up with me? There's sold, and then save it. And it will then create a sold tag here. Then when I go here, you can see this dev site's running slow. The dev server is not really super powerful. Click edit. I can select sold like that as a tag, and then I can save it. And then if I wanted to, I could go back to leads, and if I wanted to, I could say tags, show me all the solds, and it showed me everybody who tagged with sold. That's all it does. Okay, going back, decline stats. It's not going to have any, of course. These are, I guess I should explain this. You can assign leads to someone and they can decline the lead. This is more for our brokers. So if you have a broker and they have agents, we do have a way to assign a lead to an agent. And when that lead is assigned, you can see here, if I click on this lead right here, I can assign that lead to an agent. And when that agent gets that lead, they can decline the lead saying, I don't want this lead. And then they'll have to put a note in as to why they don't want the lead. And the lead will then get reassigned back to the administrator, whoever's running the site, the admin. That's what that's for. And this is just a summary of those. This is imports. If you want to import leads, you can do that with our system and map all the fields. And this is your settings section here. And this is actually important. Excuse me. General lead settings, force leads to agents if listing belongs to an agent. What this is when leads come in to the site, the system, let's say they're inquiring about a property. If they're inquiring about a listing and that listing belongs to Betty and Betty's one of your agents, then it will, if you have this checked here, then that means that any lead coming in that the agent is the listing agent for, that lead will go to her. That's what that's for. So that way, if she has a listing and an inquiry comes in on her listing, it will go to her if that box is checked. That's what that means. And this is just all new registered users will be set to check for send an email. That's you can actually, that's just email validation. We used to have email validation in our system, but it became such a pain, we kind of took it out. That's what that's for. Email validation and logins. The other thing is when you can actually make it so if I check this, every time a new lead comes into the system, what this is going to do, whether their email is validated or not, is it's going to notify you they logged in, whoever the assigned agent is. So if Betty was assigned to that lead and that lead logged in and that box was checked initially, then that means that she's going to get an email saying that person logged in. That can get to be a nuisance, I'm telling you right now. But for certain clients, it might be useful. And you can actually go in to a lead manually and set that as well. Let me see, where's that at? Give me a minute to find it, but you can do that. You can actually set that field up. Oh, where's it at? I have to find it. I don't remember where it is, but add send notes, add edit account. It's under account. There it is right there. You can see it right there. So if the agent has a lead that, let's say they sent and they manually put a lead in for Jack Brown, and Jack Brown is an investor, and they want to know when Jack Brown logs in for the first time, logs in. They can go in and check that so that when that happens, it'll notify them right away that Jack Brown logged in. And then they can go back in and turn it off if they don't want to keep getting it. That's what that's for. I wouldn't recommend, of course, doing it for everyone. That could be a headache. But so I would never really do that personally, but some people do. This I do see brokers do all the time, but mostly if it's a single agent site, you will not see them do that probably. Lead lottery. This is another broker tool. This is kind of like a round robin, but not a round robin. robin. Think of this like a random round robin. What that means is if you have 4 or 5 agents, you can actually enable the lead lottery, and then you can add each agent in here, okay? And then you can give them a percentage of leads, say 5, 10, 15, or just a number of leads. So 5, 8, 10, whatever. The system will randomly pick a lead, a person every time a lead comes in that's not getting assigned anywhere, and assign it to one of those people. And it will keep a 1-to-1 ratio. So everyone in first round, everyone will get one. And then next round, everyone will get one, but not in order. It's just going to pick one until everyone's gotten one. Then once everyone's gotten one, it'll start over and do it again. If there's an odd number, let's say one guy is allowed 10 per round, and one guy's allowed 20, then it'll randomly pick until the guy gets his max of 10, and then finish off with the other 10, and then reset the system again. That's kind of how this works. It logs everything. It will log every time a lead comes in and who it was assigned to. Important to have that. This is allow general inquiries from contact form to also be distributed by the lead lottery. So if someone is going to come in through the contact form, then the lead lottery can also distribute those leads as well, if you want. That's a choice. Because remember, those leads are not really registered with accounts. They're just leads coming in without accounts. And this is allowing all registered users here, which is going to be obviously on. Okay, so I'm going to leave that off for now, though. All right, and that's all there is for the lead section. Okay, let's get into the content section. Okay, content is obviously anything the agent is adding to the site except the design stuff. So any pages, any forms, any images, all that stuff is in here. Okay, so this is where if an agent wants to go in, let's go to the file manager first and look over it. And they want to add pictures for the blogs posting, or they want to add new rotation pictures and stuff like that. The file manager is where they will do that. And I'm going to say this very clearly on here because it's important to make sure that they keep up with the size of files. And they can do that with our system. You don't want 2, 3, 4 meg files on your website, and the system has to load them up for everybody. You want to keep them in the kilobyte size, 200, 300 kilobytes instead of megs, so you don't eat up their bandwidth and data plans. And also for load speeds. And you can do that. This is the thumbnail view on our file manager. And it's just like a folder system. You can see the folders here and then the images. And then this here, where it says list view, will actually show you the file sizes. So you'll know how big they are. And you can see there's a really big one right here, intentionally put up here so I can say, hey, that's too big. Really should be around 200, 300 kilobytes max. But that's a good way to note how big they are. You can also click on these and go into the folders and see inside each folder the sizes. And you can see these are all beautifully sized. You can click on any image as well and look at the image. You can crop in stuff here, but I would highly recommend not doing that if you can. Try to crop in before you upload an image. It's a lot better. And renaming the same thing. I would delete an image, then just upload it with the same name. And we'll go over that in a second. You can see here the location of the image file is right here. This is where the image is. And for routing reasons, you really only ever want to use this if you're referencing that image on the website. And the reason is because most of our sites will start out with a development account. It'll be dev something. So when you're adding pages and adding content, you're going to want to use just the routing so that when you go live with your site, which might be like jackrealtor.com, instead of dev, whatever it is, all your links will still work. And if you try to use the whole thing when you're building pages and stuff, and then you go live with the site, it's going to have the wrong domain here. You have to go in and change all your pages. If you root a page where you're just using the / from after the domain, the system automatically knows to use that reference of the domain. So then you don't have to worry about when you change your domain, if that makes any sense. Okay. So let's go back. To upload an image is actually really simple. You just click upload, you drag and drop the file, and then you just say, and it will upload it. Let me see if I have a file I can throw up there real fast so we can use here. I'll just toss one in. I'll just toss in some blog images here. I got a few blog images. So let's say I want to find there we go. Okay, this is just a funny image. So I can, if I want to upload, excuse me, I got to click upload file. And I can drag and drop the file like that. And then when it's ready, I can click upload. And wherever I'm here, wherever I am at here is where that file is going to get uploaded to. So if I'm in a folder, when I click upload, it'll get uploaded to the folder. If I'm at the root here, it's going to get uploaded to the root. So that file just got uploaded here. And there it is. And then you can see the reference to it. And if I want to reference that, we'll come back later and reference that in a page or something. And I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, but that's pretty much all there is to the file manager. You can upload PDF files as well. I do not recommend uploading videos here. Videos take up a lot of space and they eat up a lot of bandwidth. I highly recommend using something like YouTube or some of the other third-party video systems to do that. Plus, by using YouTube, you can actually reference back and get a little bit of ranking to your website by doing it up there as well. And then you can embed the video after doing such. Okay, pages. Okay, pages is a interesting little aspect. Pages, the first one is always going to be your home page. So any website we do, you have your root, which is your home page. Okay, so if I click that, that is the home page content, you can see. And if I go to here and go home, the content on this page, which will be right here, because this is all design stuff for the home page, will be right here. So if I look there, it's going to be the same. So you can edit this content however you wish. This is a WYSIWYG. So you can actually, it's what you see, what you get. So you can highlight stuff and bold it and stuff like that, and then save it, of course, and it'll show up. You can also insert images from, like we did a second ago. I was just showing you images. If you want, you can go in here, insert an image, browse, and it will go to the file manager for you. And I can grab that image. Now see how it rooted it? It's just using the /. It's not using the demo.mersal dev3. And that's the way it should be done for any image referencing. And then you can change any sizes you want. You can go in advance and do whatever you want. It'll just make this like 400 pixels across. It'll constrain and it'll insert it. There it goes. That's it. Now you have your image. And then you can, of course, save it and it'll show up on the site homepage. This is a featured image. I don't know if this one's using the featured image. It does not look like it is. But this is actually can be used. Some of our designs will use the featured image as a header image. So if you set and save a featured image, your header, not homepage header, obviously, but your header in those pages will take on that. For the home page, it's usually ignored. So I don't even know why they set that there. You can actually just remove it and it'll go away. So that's all that is. Let's go into the details. Here is your layout. And this is what happens here is our system allows you to create multiple layouts and you can assign your pages to those layouts. Okay, so we have most of ours, and that's in the design section we'll get to later, but you can actually assign multiple pages to the same layout. And that makes it really, really easy to design and build and create testing layouts and stuff too, because you can create a test page and do that. As you can see, the home page doesn't have some options that we're going to show, which we'll dive into in a second. But this right here, display title, if you check that, it will automatically show the title. If you don't check it, it will not. And what that means is, let me go into an internal page and we'll go in more detail on that. So let's go back to listing pages. And let's go look at a page. Okay, let's just go to this one. This is Homes in Myrtle Beach page. Okay, so this is actual what a page is. Now, the root page, of course, is a little different, but every page after the root has a lot more options I want to go over. your title, Homes in Myrtle Beach. See, it says display title. If I view this page by clicking that, you'll see it says Homes in Myrtle Beach. It's displaying the title. If I turn that off and save it and refresh, that title goes away. Why is that? Because some SEO experts, they want to do their own titles. They want to put their own H1 tags in. So we give you that option to turn that off if you want. And that way they can override it with their own H1 tags. The next thing is your page URL. This is actually generated by the title, but you can change it, although I wouldn't recommend it. And when you actually create a title here and click suggest slug, it actually is recreating a page URL, which is actually what you will see in the URL itself. And when you click that, it's just going to take that and convert to whatever it wants. It's going to take that and convert a slug out of it. That's what it's going to do. So if I, Homes in Myrtle Beach town, let's say, and I click suggest slug, it would then just add town to it. See, that's all it did. I'm gonna refresh. Okay. Parent. This is how you assign a page to a parent. Obviously, all pages initially in level 1 is going to be to the parent is the home page. But if you want nesting pages, just like a folder system, that's all it really is. Page within page. And that's what I'm going to get to as well, coming down here. You can make a page, have options. It can be active. It can allow comments on the page. You can have act as a folder. You can have it visible to all, and you can have it so that it requires a login to view the page. Which also, when you do that, it'll give you another box here. And this is a message that they'll see first if they're not logged in, is what that is. And then once they're logged in, they'll actually see the page itself. So it might be, hey, create an account before you can see this page, kind of thing. Visible to all. If you have it this way, then obviously they're not going to see it unless they're logged in. Visible all means they can all see it, but they might still have to log in. Allow comments. This is actually really good to create sometimes a page to have comments, because what you can do here is you could create a page that maybe like an FAQ page. You know, hey, there's information. This is a page for Homes in Myrtle Beach, and you could say ask questions or something, and people could ask questions and you could answer them, or the agent could answer them, I should say. And it creates an FAQ, and Google likes that information because it's showing that that page has more relevant content by doing such a thing. So that allow comments can be good. And our system does flag comments if they're spam and things like that. So it does watch them first and says, hey, that looks like spam. And you have to approve comments before they show up as well. So they don't, once you do that, there will be a section where you have to approve and disapprove the comments to show up. So if someone's being rude, obviously it wouldn't show them. Act as a folder. What that does, let me just go back to the pages. You can see here, Litchfield and test pages. These are folders. These are really just pages if I click on them, but it's pages acting as a folder. So it has content. See, test. If I go and view it, I can actually view the page, and this is test. You can see how it doesn't have a .html or anything. Now, as far as putting underscores or dashes, every SEO person has their own view on that. Some say dashes for folders, underscore for pages when you're using spaces, but that's just their call. We personally do dashes now for folders and underscores for page name spaces. But you can, I guess you can do it however you want. So plantation links really should be like this, is what I'm trying to say. But the slug will automatically create a dash for some reason. So, and I've asked SEO guys about this and said, hey, if I did dashes for folders and pages, does it matter? And some say not really, Google doesn't care. And some say, yeah, it matters. So depends who you ask. But you can see here, this plantation links is parent is test page. So therefore it shows up under test page. Okay. And be careful renaming folders and stuff, because you could mess up some things. So make sure you have the folder structure like you want it. Because if you go and this is assigned a test page, and then you go and change the test page name to Bob, it won't be assigned to it anymore. It'll get moved to root. So if I change this test page to some other name, then what would happen is anything underneath it would get moved to the root automatically, because test page was removed. It's gone. So it has no parent. So it automatically reverts back to the main parent. If that makes sense. Okay, so let's go back to Plantation Lakes. We've gone over these two guys. We already talked about the editor and how to use it. Adding a feature here and viewing the features. And this would actually show up in the header if the design layout was designed for that. So if I do go to Plantation Lakes, let me get rid of these. And there is a header, which this one does not have one. And you add a feature image, it would then show up in the header. And we do have some designs that do take that on. You'll just have to ask when you're doing it or tell us when you're doing it that you want it to have the featured image to show up as the header. And then we will make sure the designers will make sure that happens. Now, some other things you can do with pages really easily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one for you to show you. Let's create a page in the system under test pages. Okay. And we'll call it Grand Dunes. Okay. And we're going to show properties in the Grand Dunes. So the way we would do that is we create a new page. Homes in the Grand Dunes. If you see, I can suggest login, it's going to do just that. I'm going to make it under the test page. I'm not making it a folder. It's visible to all and it's active. I'm going to use the default layout. Now notice I'm not using the home page layout. I'm using the default. Every one of our sites will have a home page and a default layout. There are always two. So I'm using the default layout, some text here. Okay. And then what I've got to do, I'm just going to save the page. And I'm going to view the page. Okay, view page. Now, see, I just created a page, Homes and Grand Dunes, some text here. That's it. And this is just the default layout. This particular default layout has a right column. Okay, now I'm going to want to add the listings for the Grand Dunes. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on listings. And we'll say enable listing queries. And there's two types. There's MLS listings and custom listings. We'll get to custom listings. Right now we're just doing MLS. And what we're doing here is it needs a query string. And I know it sounds complicated, but it's really not. What we do is we go here, we'll go to the property search, click city. And I always do this just for fun. I reset just in case. And then I'm going to go and say, I want land and residential subdivision. DUNES. Okay, there we go. And we want a Grand Dunes, so I probably should just type in Grand Dunes. There we go. You can do all the ones if you want. I'm just going to do Grand Dunes for this one. So we're going to do Grand Dunes and leave it at that. No, I'm not going to add any extra stuff, just Grand Dunes. And I'm going to do a search. Okay, so it's going to show me here the results. Residential, Grand Dunes, nothing. Oh, that's weird. Nothing's for sale in the Grand Dunes. Maybe maybe they broke it up, is why. Maybe I need to do Dune Cove too. There we go. Okay, so Grand Dunes and Dunes Cove. I don't know. All right, so there we go. So there's a summary page of the listing I just did. This is the criteria of the listing the query I just did. And you can see up here at the top, the / right here. Just copy all of that. You can right click or Control C. Go back to the page. For me, because I changed this, I'm going to Grand Dunes and Dunes Cove. Okay. Redo the slug. There we go. And I'm going to go to Listings tab and I'm going to paste that. Now you can also, if you want to paste it, you can just do right click and paste. I press Control V to paste it. Okay, and there it is. It says found 4 listings. And this page will update from the MLS data consistently, dynamically. Anytime you go to it, it'll show you the most recent. If I click save here, it will then save this query, okay, and the page. So you can see the query is still here. Now, if I go to the page, which I'm going to do it again by going view page, it will now show me the text here, and then it will show me the listings below the text. So we call these landing pages. Some clients I've known in the past, they'll just do a query And what they'll do is they'll go here and do a query and do Grand Dunes and all that kind of stuff, subdivision, and or see, I kept the data, and they'll do this, and they'll just copy this and actually create a menu item for this. That's not good. Google doesn't like all this extra junk here. It doesn't like that. That doesn't look good. It would rather have a nice, pretty name page like Grand Dunes and Cove to show people. So that's why we do landing pages. They're nice, they're clean, they're neat, and they're actually a page on your site. They're not a dynamically driven page like this is. This is a dynamically driven page. Okay, so once we have some text here, page, we can actually, let's say you want to have some text in the bottom. We have snippets. These things here are called snippets. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to press enter and say some text. And of course, you can put a picture here. We can put a little guy here if you want. Where'd he go? There he is. I'm making 500 pixels and put him in the bottom. Okay, there he goes. I can save this. I'm just going to close that again and then open the page again. And there you go. There's the some text here. And then if you scroll to the bottom, you'll have your MLS disclaimers we have to put there. And then you'll have the rest of your text is at the bottom. That gives you some flexibility with the page with putting MLS data in the middle. Okay. All righty. That's that. And of course, the feature image we talked about. There are other snippets we do have that we sometimes will use. Let's see. See if I remember what it is. I'll show you a couple of the snippets that you can use as well with our system. And if you're asking, and we can actually write custom snippets for clients too. We've done that in the past. They might want a specific one for something. We have one called listing averages you can use. So if you want, you can go and put like that and then click save. Then we'll view the page again. And you can see it has a little bit of information here, and what it's done is it's taking this first page and it's giving you averages of what the results are for that page. Just a little bit of fun stuff kind of deal. So I know on that first page, there's 1 land and 3 residential properties, the average price, average beds, baths, et cetera, et cetera. And kind of neat little thing. Okay. And that's pretty much all there is to pages. I mean, obviously you can go in and add forms and stuff to pages down the road. We'll get to that. Let's jump into menu builder. The menu builder is pretty simple. We're going to keep this simple because it can do a lot, but we're going to keep it simple. The menu builder is what manages all this stuff here, like the home, the property, all that kind of stuff. So once you create a page on the website, the question is, how do you get to the page? You have the page. The only way to get to a page, if it's not in the menu or in some other page linked to the page, is through the menu. Or there's one other way. If you go to the bottom of every site we have, there's what we call a sitemap. Well, there it is, right there. And the sitemap will show you every page on the site. That is a way to get to the page we just created right here. But right now, that's the only way to get to that page. What if we wanted an easier way for our clients? Let's say under property search, we wanted to have a link, maybe down here. What you do is you can go to the menu builder, and this is the main navigation, which is what this bar is always. Okay. And you can click menu items, action menu items, and then I can just add one. Now it's best if you think it was Dunes Cove. Like that. I can then click on the pages, type in something and find it. There it is. There's the page. You can tell it if you want to open it in a new window or not. This is more advanced stuff. Most of the clients do not use this, but then I'm just going to do these two right now. So I've created a title and a link for the menu item. I'm going to save it. It's going to show up here at the top. I'm going to then grab a hold of it, pull it down. There. Oh, I need to indent it a little bit. Okay, now it's part of the property search. If I go here now, it's not going to be there because I haven't refreshed. I have to refresh. It'll refresh it. It will then load it in. Let's go home. Okay. Go here, and then there it is. That easy. Now you've created a link to that page we just created. Now you can see how easy that was. And honestly, if I wasn't going through step by step and you knew how to do it, you could knock these pages out quick. I mean, really fast. You could really create fast pages. And you can do other things too. So for example, let's say I wanted to link, I'm going to copy this. And let's say I wanted to go into this page and let's go into plantation links. I could add a link to homes in like that, make that, highlight it, click on that, paste that there. Now I could find it this way too. Just clicking it right there. Same thing. And then I can give it a title. And you can make it open in a target or non. This means it'll open in another tab is what that means. This means it won't. It'll just take you to that page. I press OK. Okay. Now that's now a link. See that? Now if I save it, I've now created, once I refresh this, once I go to here, Litchfield. Is that the right page? Did I go to the right page? Can't remember what page I created it on. Duh. It says visit the page. Okay, there it is. Now, this is a link. So now if I click it, it will take me to that page. So now there's two ways to get to that page. And that means that when Google indexes a site, it will find two methods of getting to that page. And of course, you can do other methods, like if you're doing a blog post, you could also link to that page from a blog post and things like that, which actually really helps things. Okay, so that's how that's done. Okay, there are other items. This has resource links. So some of the designs that you'll see with our system will have other menu items like resource links that you can actually, these are the resource links here. And instead of having to go in the HTML, you can just manage them from this widget here. You can see I can add links and stuff, and they will then show up here. Makes it easier to manage them. So that's actually what the menu system is really useful for and helpful. And some of them we even have them for like the sidebars and stuff like that as well, depending on the designs and layouts. Okay, next is Form Manager. Excuse me. The Form Manager just allows you to create custom forms. That's pretty much all there is to it. I won't go deep into this. I'm just going to show you a little bit about it. You can create a new form. When you create a new form, the first thing you're going to do is give the form a name and then set up some basic information about what that form will do, not what it will show, what it will do. These are all notified, self-explanatory type labels and stuff here, email. So what that means is this form will be given a title, and then you can say when this form is filled out, where it will go, carbon copy, will be assigned to a group, if there are any groups, stuff like that, okay? And the button, would it be a submit button on the form, or would it be a continue button on the form in case you're making a little wizard? So you can have a form continue to another form if you want, make it like a little wizard. And this is auto responders. If the form will auto respond once they submit the form, will it send them an auto email saying thank you for submitting this form, that kind of crap. And then here, let's see here, where is it at? This is where you can actually add attachments. So some forms, if you want, you can add attachments. Let's say the form is some type of agreement form, and you won't say, fill out this form and this is going to send you a PDF or something like that. And you can just say what PDF file it would send you. So when they fill out the form, it will then send you whatever these attachments are. And once the form is filled out, you can also have it direct you to another page with another form if you wanted, or whatever, or you can just have it say a thank you on the screen. So you're going to get an email when you fill out the form, and then you can also get redirected to a page or just shown a thank you. That's all there's to it. That's how they set the form up. Then once the form is set up like these are, you'll get a little block like this, You can then go in and edit the fields by clicking that pencil, excuse me, and click fields. And then this will show all the form fields. We're not going to go into creating forms. That's another whole video. But you can see that the forms are here and all the items and stuff, and you can move them around and stuff like that and set them in groups and things like that. Then we're going to go back to the form. Once the form is then created and you have all the fields and all that kind of good stuff, you can then copy what we call the snippet of the form, which is that right here. Okay. And then you can add that form to a page. So I'm going to go ahead. There's already a page. This form's actually already used. It tells you right here it's used on these pages, listing field, Litchfield properties. Okay. It's not been filled out any, and there's no spams. So if I go to pages and find Litchfield properties, wherever it was, probably here, you'll see that the form snippet is right there. So with the form snippet being right here, that means that this page, if I go to it, is going to show the form, which is showing the form here. And then they can fill out the form. It's that easy. And the cool thing about this is that by doing the forms with snippets to represent a form, you can put forms in multiple pages on the site. It makes it easier, a lot easier. And every form that is filled out, now you can't see it here, but when a form is filled out and you're on the form manager, this is a link. If it had 1, 2, or 3, and you click on it, it will then show you a list of all the times the form was filled out and who filled it out and what they put in it. So it keeps a database of those entries. And you also notice when you were creating the form, right here, see this right here, force entries. You can tell the form that when people fill it out, because all forms require an email address and a name, that means that they could be registered. So that will create a registration. If you click that box, then when they fill that form out, it registers them as well when they fill that form out, which is kind of neat, because then you can have someone say, hey, you could be doing a giveaway or something like that, an open house giveaway, and say, hey, fill this form out, and it will register them on the site as well as put them in the database of the form, which is nice. Okay, main contact form. This is the main contact form. Every one of our sites has a contact page. The way to edit this page and what you see here is from this main contact form here. And you can see it's just very self-explanatory what you want to show and display. You can add your own, how did you find us, and add your own list and just keep pressing enter and adding more and make it required or not. Best time, same thing. Same thing here with contact via. And you can update it. And then you can have editable content. And this is content you can add to it as well. And you'll see here has page title, meta descriptions, things like that if you want. And then you have content above and content below the base form. So that would be content above and below this form. There's content above there and content below, which is what I probably put here. Yep, I did. See? And that's all that is. And then you can select what layout. So if you want the contact form to have its own layout, you could do that as well. And then after submitting, what the form will say, or if it will redirect to some other page when you submit. Okay. That's pretty much all there is to that form. Kind of handy. Redirects. Sometimes you will have clients moving from one website to our platform. So one platform to another. And there are certain pages they don't want to lose, but maybe their system that they were on before had a really different file path system. You can actually create those URLs, what they might have been like /Jack/Bob/contact me, and then say that would go to the actual /contact, which is what the new site. So that way any bots or anything following the old pages would just get redirected to the new pages. That's what this is for. So you can just redirect. Something else this is really good for is QR codes. If you want to do like QR1, and then you could actually have that page go to a listing page or wherever you want. So if an agent has a sign that they created and they have their QR code already on the sign, they could every now and then just change that QR code and redirect it. So that QR code might be set to just go to QR1 or something, or some number. And whenever something goes into their domain /QR1, then they can control redirecting it to whatever listing they currently have that sign on, which is kind of cool. Robots.txt file. This is for us more than anything, not for them, but we do have control over that. We have a default one that already works, but if we need to modify it for a site particularly, we can do that. Most of the time, we do not need to do that because it is set up pretty well to try to stop bad bots and things. Okay, that was the content section. Getting tired yet? Okay. Moving on. Now for the real estate section. Okay, you think these things get longer and longer, don't they? Okay, let's start out. What the real estate section is pretty much everything that relates to real estate. Okay, just to give you a heads up. So everything that relates to real estate in our system and control of the real estate parts. So first thing we're going to go over is the subdivision module. And we're going to go over this briefly because this is kind of a video. The subdivision module allows you to group subdivisions and create pages for those subdivisions is what it really allows you to do. So we have created some here, and it's like a page, but it's a page that's grouped together and has a lot more flair to it, I guess you could say. So for example, if I go to the site, let me go to the bottom. I think there's already one created here. I'm going to show you. There it is, all subdivisions. So the subdivision module, first, it has a summary of all the subdivisions you created, and you can turn on maps for it as well. Let me find the general content. Is that it? Yeah, Google Maps. You can turn on Google Maps and Walk Score if you want. We'll save it. And that way, when I go to the home page, the Google Map would then show up if there's any stats in here, but there's not. There's no stats on this one. I don't think this one had any latitude and longitude. But if it does, then it would show up. See, this one needs, it didn't have, I don't know. Let me see if there's a Crest drive or anything in here. Let's just pick a, it works better when it's live, by the way, because obviously Google doesn't want you to. This is our company. Let's see if it'll do that one. There it goes. So there's the latitude, longitude. So I'll save that. Let's see if it will pick it up now. There you go. So now it's going to show that one subdivision on the map. So if you had a whole bunch of subdivisions, you could then have them on the map and you could click them as well, see, and then view it. And then view will just take you to the same place if you clicked here. It's kind of a way to organize subdivisions, and you can actually create them in groups. So you'll see there's actually a list subdivision categories. We call them categories, but groups categories. So what you could do is you can go in and create schools, and then you could put all the subdivisions for certain schools. And or if you're in a military base, that's usually really popular schools. You could do zip codes. You could do a city. You could say, here's a city, Myrtle Beach, and then all the subdivisions in Myrtle Beach, that kind of thing. You're just organizing them is all you do. But why this versus pages instead just doing pages? Only because it's a little more organized. And when I'm looking at here, the subdivision page has a lot more organization to it. Like it has overviews, it has floor plans, more pictures and stuff like that. So it gives you a little bit more. And that's the only reason. It's just a little bit more. And I can go into more depth on this on another video on how these 4 items right here are all about the subdivision module right here. And this is how to manage the categories. You can manage the categories and create metadata for them. And all pages as well have metadata, by the way. We didn't do that in the page content, but they all have metadata. So you can actually add your metadata and categories and all that for the categories. So it's the title, the slug for the category. So that might be just, I don't know, it might be a school name, and the slug might just be that school name. And you can have its own layout if it wants, and content above and below. And then once the category is created, it will then show up as listed categories. Like this is a category. For some reason, I made Berkshire a category. And then I can assign every subdivision page I create to these different categories. That's all this is. Let's see. Listing comments. If you have listing comments turned on, you can manage those. And that's what this is here, is managing listing comments. It's pretty simple. Once you follow through it, it's just, Are they spam? Should I allow it? Should I not allow it? We talked about that earlier. Let's see here. Search form configuration. This is, if I go here and click city, you see how this says coastal title, and then these are the tabs I can use. I can control that from here. I can say, this is my tab order, what I want order to be, drag and drop them and reorder the tabs. Area, map, city, so it should be right now. Area, city, etc. And it's got to be turned on, of course. Okay. Let me move the city map up there. I didn't see the map there. Did you see the map? I don't think the map's turned on yet on this one. Yep, that's right. See, I have it set up to be map area city, but if you notice, there's no map. And the reason there's no map is because map is turned off. And then you can go in here and you can actually label each tab. Okay. So if I want, every tab can have a label. So when I click on the city, it'll show one, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, it's going to show a default. And I'll show you where that default is in a little bit when we get to it. Because that's all that's all that is. It just allows you to control the layout of this page, kind of. Enhanced listings. This is actually really cool and very, very important. Enhanced listings allows, whenever we set a site up for a client, we set up an office. Every site comes with one office and 2 agent profiles. Any additional offices cost more, but for most of them just need one office. And they can set up how they want the site, their featured listings. Every site has a featured listing system. Let's see if this one does. Like this one's called Litchfield Properties. This one, did they not? Oh, there is featured properties right there. That is a static system page that actually will show office listings or agent listings, depending on how they set those up. When we get down here in settings, we'll go over that. Okay. But these, if the site is set up for their office listings, then they can go in and they are allowed to enhance their office listings or their listings. And all they have to do is click in enhance listing, and it will pick up, it will go to this page, and then they can type in an MLS number from here. You can either type it in, type the address in, whatever you want, and it will pull up that listing. Okay. And then they can, once they pulled up the listing, there it is right there. See it? Then they can give it a header and some description. And they also can add more media to it. So they can drop files and add more pictures to it, things like that. This here, though, if they want, let's say they wanted, I've had a client before, they said he would upload in the file manager PDFs for certain commercial properties. And then once he's uploaded the PDFs, he would go here and write extra description and say, download my PDF, and put in download my PDF, click here, and then he would attach the PDF. And then they could download the PDF. So whenever someone was on that listing, they just had to go to his listing and then they could do that. Also, what it does is when you enhance a listing, it's making that listing more unique. So that's actually really, really good too. You're making a listing unique to that site, because let's face it, everyone's getting this information. So when they get this information, everyone has the same information. It's considered duplicate content. But when you enhance it and add more photos and videos and all that in here, you're making it more unique, which is actually really nice. So that's what this does here, is that allows you to enhance your listings or the office listings. Open house. This is the open house module. This just allows you to do a little bit of stuff to the open house. Welcome to, and we have an open house page. Pretty much what that means is every listing we have, you can click on it and you can type in question mark open house, I believe is what it is. And it will automatically take you to an open house page for that listing. So what it's doing here, it just generated an open house page for that listing. Okay. You can see how it says welcome for that open house page. Now this is actually really cool, because what this can do is you can have a tablet at an open house. Your agent could say, I'm having an open house at this property. And all they have to do is go to that property, type in open house, and it will take them and create this page. And they can leave that on a tablet in the open house, and people can then sign up and register. And then it creates some, first of all, it adds them to the database, and gives them information and keeps up with how many people have been there and all that kind of stuff. And then they can actually customize this if they want with layout and metadata. That's all this page is right here. Okay, the next one is syndication. This used to be really big back in the day. Now syndication has really gone kind of down. This is just for RSS feeds on their listings. If they want an RSS feed for their listings, that's all this really is. Back in the day, Zillow required syndicated links for your listings and stuff, but that's not happening anymore. So that's all this really is. It's hardly ever used, but you can do it if you want. If you understand RSS feeds. If you don't, you probably don't want to mess with it. All right, now the big daddy, settings. This is what we call the real estate settings page. All right, here you can do a lot. Let's go through the bottom first. We won't go here because that's for us only. But this is the main settings page. And what this allows you to do is some defaults. You can set the default sort types, ascending or descending. And what I mean by that is when someone goes to the site and they do a property search by city or something, it's the default for the results of this page. Okay, that's what that is. And this is the layout for the page. So when you do a search, what layouts are going to use for this page. Okay. This is the listing view restrictions. Okay. How many times can the client view properties? Okay. View means the detail view before the system will require them to register. So can they look at it 3 times, 1 time, 4 times, and then it says you got to register. Or you can make it so 0 means that they can look at it and it never asks them to register. Okay. You can see there's notes here. You can also have a message for them when it's time for them to register, telling them why and what they get for registering and all that kind of stuff. And then you can tell it where you want to redirect them to the login or to the sign up when this message comes up. That's your choice. This one here, right here, this one is the property search restrictions. So this is just the detail page search. How many times can they do a search before it makes them register? Okay. This one's 5. You can make it 0, et cetera, et cetera. So you got 2 ways of controlling that. And the same parameters here as well. And of course you have a message here and you can redirect them to the sign up page or the login page once they see this. Okay. This is the maps. So whenever someone's using map, and like I said, this is dev site, so it won't really work, but let's go back to city search. I don't have maps turned on. Dadgummit. If map was turned on, then the map search would have, this would be the latitude and longitude the map search would default to when they went to the map search. Let me jump to that real quick and turn. I don't know why that's turned off. Someone was probably playing with it. Oh, turn it on. There we go. Okay, now it's turned on. Go back to settings. Okay, so go back down here. Okay, so now if I go here and refresh, there's map. So go here to map. Of course, it's going to fuss at me for the development. Okay, so this is where it starts me out. And it starts me out in this location because of this latitude and this longitude and that zoom level. Okay, that's what's going on there. You can update it. That's all there is to that. Now, the map search does have a lot of stuff. When I can't show you everything because it's not a live site. Well, once the site is live and secured, then you can use the My Location button, which is really cool, especially if you're on a cell phone, because what that will do is it will find where your phone is and take the map to that section. And then as you're moving, it will follow you. So if you're walking around a neighborhood, it'll be zoomed into you and you'll see properties. And if they're for sale, you'll see them pop up for sale, which is kind of neat. You can also you can draw stuff and things like that. And you can actually say, I want to draw a section here and say any properties for sale in this little section. And then you can actually copy the URL and send it to clients, which is nice. All righty. So now let's go to listing detail view. When you're looking at a property, okay, this is a detail view of a property. Okay. So this is the listing detail view of a property here. This allows you to do some stuff with that property, even if it's not yours. There are some things you can do if it's not their listing or their office listing. You can allow comments, which we can go back to the listing comment section there. You can allow comments. and manage, and they can be managed here. Or not allow comments on that property page. So you can turn that off and on for a listing. I mean, for all listings, excuse me. I don't recommend that personally, because you're going to get so many emails and spammers, and it's a lot for every listing. You can then, of course, this is your title page. If you see it says view listing MLS number. If I'm looking at this property here, you can see it says view listing MLS number. You can change this. You could say, and there's a list of snippets here that you can use. So I could say, I could use the address, view, like this. And then if I save it, then the title here for every listing will then change to the address, Myrtle Beach. See, I did that, which is really cool. And gives you a lot of power. Go back there. So that's what that's for. And then this is the same for page title. Do the same thing for the page title and the metadata for for Google and stuff. And the meta description, same thing. And you have general metadata if you want. You can actually add more to it. This is your base metadata that's going to be on the page, which every page has. You can view the source of a page here, and you can look at what the metadata is. You can see it's all being thrown in here. Okay, it's just giving you control of this stuff. Now, the listing detail general settings. You're selecting the layout for the detail page, which is this page. You can use it as default, but you can change it. Display related listings. If you want to display the related listings on the page, this allows you to do that here. And if you have that enabled, then at the bottom, it will show you related listings, which are these for this particular layout. They show differently on different sites. A listing inquiry form, phone number. That means it's if enabled, phone number will be required. You can see it's going to require the phone number if they do an inquiry. What that means, if that is checked, then when I do an inquiry here, view more information, it will require the phone number. See that little asterisk. If I don't want the number required, I just uncheck that, and then it won't require it, because some people don't want to give their number out. Although if you're asking about a property, you would think they would want to give their number out. This is text above and below a listing. See? And text below. Now, why would you want to be able to do this? You are allowed to do this by board rules. And the reason you'd want to do this, I've seen agents actually put a little thing like a call me at number, call me at my number, or email me and put their number here. Call me at, oops, this is my number, this company number. Oh, excuse me. So I could say, call me at this, and I'll put it at the top and the bottom for more information. You could say for more information, whatever you want. Then when I go to any listing, close that and refresh the page. Then when I go to any listing, above that will be this for any listing on their site. And you see above, I made it also below. And those are the proper places that has to be put. If you're enhancing the listings, like we talked about earlier, the enhancement will show up over here, a little bit down actually. And that is allowed because an agent can enhance their listings. They have control over their listings, and they are allowed to do that. Okay, let's see. And that's all there is to those little guys. And you can see there are snippets you can put in here on these things too, if you want, to make it more flexible. The next one is listing print. This is pretty simple. If they want to print the listing, there's a print here. This is just header information and footer information for when they print it out. That's all this is. And if they want to show the Google map on the print or not. Let's see. Mortgage calculator. This is pretty basic. Our mortgage calculator is pretty basic. You just can set the stuff, the rates and stuff like that manually. It doesn't do it dynamically or anything like that. It just sets them here. And that's all there is to that. And that's what it will use as default when they're using the calculator. And of course, if they want to get more, it just populates it initially with those numbers, and they can change it. That's all it is. Okay. Featured listings. Okay. Earlier I spoke about this. When we give one office, every site gets one office. Okay. And that office is set up on the site and you get 2 free agent profiles. You can add featured listings, which is this right here. Let me show you featured listings tab. This is your featured listings page. And this featured listings can be set up by office or by agent. This one is set up by office. I could change it easily by saying agent. And then I would select the agents I want it to show, and it would only show their listings on this page if I did that. That's all it is. Now, I have had agents say, I don't want the page to be called featured listings. I want my featured listings to be a different page. You can do that. You can create a page, a landing page on the site. And when you create a landing page on the site, you can then, of course, use a custom URL. So you could have my featured listings or only homes in dunes with a pool, as an example. And then you could redirect them to that for the featured listings page. That's what this is about here, which is kind of good. Gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of control. I'm going to change that back to office. And of course, you'll notice everything has an updated last update. All of our pages and stuff have a timestamp on them so that we know who changed the page last. That's important. If the agent has somebody working on their site, an SEO person or something, it's good to give them their own login so that when they change pages and update pages and blog posts, it's timestamps it that they did it. And that way you know that they're actually doing work on the site. Instead they say, hey, I've been doing all kinds of pages. And you can say, where? I don't see any timestamps where you did anything. But that's what that's for. Okay. Now, let's go to the top here for a second. Now, this is these are exclusions. This is something I don't recommend agents using this unless you talk to us first. This allows you to exclude your site to certain places. Like you can say, I only want my site to show listings in Alexandria City. Or you can say, I only want to show listings in a particular area, Conway, let's say. You can select all the Conways and put them over here. Your site will then only show listings or be able to search from the search form here. When you're doing a search, they would only be able to search for listings in those areas. They can do the same thing for classes. Some of them can. You can restrict what classes they can search on and what statuses. Now, our system doesn't come with sold data. In order to give our clients flexibility, I don't include it with everything because then the price would be higher. So sold data is an add-on for what MLSs we have sold data for. It is an add-on. And that's because not everybody wants sold data, and I don't think it's fair to charge them for something they don't want. So we don't include it, and they can just add it. So if they want sold data, we can turn that off and on for them. But that also makes it so sometimes they can't toggle status and class because, for example, Charleston is a perfect example of why you can't toggle class. In Charleston, you have to have an MLS agreement for residential properties and a separate MLS agreement to show commercial properties on your website. So we don't allow the agent to manage their classes because we have to, that's how we use that to know if they can show or not show those on their site. Okay, property features. This is major flexibility for our clients. What happens here is they can go into the search form and you can see these are your property features. And they can turn off these guys down here if they want, simply by going through and unchecking or checking what they want. So I want acres, I want county. I can do that. I can click update. Then when I go here and refresh, county and acres are now showing here. If I want more features, I can do that as well. Now, right now I have land. If you have multiple residential and land selected, because features are class-based, you can't do that. So, but if they were to show just one, then the features would show up for the residential. And if you go here, click on features, you'll see this list here of advanced features. You'll see they're based on class. So you can turn the ones on you want. They can turn them all on if they want. And as you turn them on, and then click update, and then refresh the page, you'll see all the features. Oops, let me turn off that land again. I didn't save it. Okay, there you go. You'll see all the new features show up. And that that gives you a lot more features to search on. And they have control over that. Or you do. Okay, so that's how that works. And we can turn them on for them too if they send us a ticket. And so just turn them on there. There you go. That's all that is. Okay, and that is the real estate settings section. These last three here, I want to go over really quick. What this is, these are custom listings. These are listings that are not in the MLS. These are sometimes agents have their own, what they call pocket listings, or they might have rentals that they want to add to their site. This is where they can actually add their own custom listings to the site here. This is the show them all. Here's a summary to show them all and add. You can see there's a show them here and create new ones, stuff like that. So they can just create. Let me go here and say, you can click new, and then they can add a listing with this information and location, add the images, et cetera, et cetera. And they will all be here to manage these three guys here. And they're custom listings. They're separate from the MLS. They don't show in the MLS search. They have their own search and everything. But that's what this is for here. And we can go in more depth down the road on this if need be in another video. Okay, now we're getting into the agent stuff. Agents, this is what allows you to manage all the agent profiles. You can actually group agents and their testimonials. Agents have a lot of tools here that they can use. Every agent can have their own login with our system. So once they have their own login, they can then edit their own profiles and their their meta tags and stuff like that, and their picture and all that. So when you go to create an agent, you can create an agent and then give them their own login. So what you'll do there is you'll create the agent's profile first. And then once the profile is created, you can then go in here in the admin and create a login account for them and associate that account with their profile. So Jane Doe, for example, this is her email address. It's obviously fake, but you can go in here, and once I create Jane Doe's profile, which is her profile here, and you can see here, this has her agent group, agents, and et cetera, et cetera. We have videos on more in depth about the profile and stuff like that. And you can turn off and on things here, their bio, their social media links, their meta. Agent Portal is an add-on for brokers, and Agent Portal allows agents to have their own URL that will redirect to their profile page and lock leads into them. So if an agent is out there giving away, say they're giving out their business card and they want the lead to make sure that comes back to them, the broker would want the portal system to make sure that happens. The portal system also will allow agents to blog on the site and put their own blogs on the site. And by blogging on the site, the agent is getting more information. So let's say I show up to somebody's site and an agent blogged on it. If I click on that blog and share it on social media because the agent wrote it, then someone else coming to that website from that blog that I shared would be locked into that agent. So it's a good way for agents to pick up leads by writing their own blogs and things like that. And we do have a moderator as well for blogs, which we'll go through down the road to explain that. But you can see you can list all the agents, view the portal, and add a new agent. Let's see here. This is just new profiles. This is just their accounts, if there are any accounts. And new account here. And this is actually another place you can do it. You can actually go to the administrator and create this. If I want to create an account for an agent so they can log in, this is what I would do. I'd say account type agent. Click on new account here. I'd select their name, give them a name, I put their name in here, phone number, and give them a password, email address, and then save. That agent can then log into the site. Okay, they will then be able to log into the site and view their profile. That's why you're assigning them to the profile they can view. Okay, that's what this does. It allows them to log in. They would go to the website /admin, just like we did earlier, and they would type in their email address and their password, and that would then log them into the site. They would be given limited access to the site, though, very limited access. When I say that, I mean like very limited. So let's see here. Profile groups. You can actually create groups and put agents in them. This is actually really handy when you're creating agent profile groups like offices. So each office could be a group. You could say new group, and it will let you write up about that group, give it an alias, add a picture of the office, and write some text and stuff, HTML, and give it a location and some metadata. And then you can assign agents to offices, which is really handy. And then that will actually show up in the actual search on the front end as well. Testimonials. Every agent can have a testimonial. And you can actually add testimonials, and they can also add their own testimonials as well. That's what that is for. And that will show up in their profile under testimonials. And that's all there is really to agents. We have more in-depth videos on that as well. Okay, blogging. Blogging, we also have more in-depth videos, but for it pretty simply put, what blogging will do is it will allow you to post a blog. And the cool thing about our system is when you're doing a blog post, because you have MLS data, you can put the title, the alias like pages have, of course, and the category. You can create categories for blogs. So you can have restaurant blogs or MLS property blogs, or maybe foreclosure blogs, things like that. Okay. And then you can add the content for the blog here. And if you want, you can actually find a property, MLS property here, and you could type in a number. And select the property. And then you can send that property to the editor, and you can edit and write up more about that property and post that as a blog as well. You can also predate blogs or post-date blogs. I should say. You can make it public, private. You can allow comments, publish it, or you can set a publish date. So you can actually create 4 or 5 blogs at the same time. And then you can say when you want them to publish, what days, and they'll show up. So a lot of power with blogs. And you can also add a featured image to a blog as well here. And of course, you can add tags to blogs, which is really good to have. So you can tag them, and you can manage your tags over here if you wish. Okay, so let's go, and this is just your category section where you can actually manage those categories and edit them and delete them. And create new categories is here. This is where you manage the tags for the blogs. And this is where you manage comments for blogs. If you have comments turned on, those comments will come and you will have to approve them to show or not show, things like that. So this is for. Okay, design. The design section is really interesting. This is actually where the meat of the website's look comes from, and it has a lot of power. Your homepage design is here, and you can actually create multiple designs. You could actually copy the homepage and create a homepage testing or something, and then go in and create a page and assign it to the homepage testing and play with the homepage a little bit and get a new look and feel if you want. You can have somebody come in and redesign the site for you and create their own little designs, and then and then move your layouts over to them as well. And we have had clients redesign their entire site, and we didn't even know. We don't have to know. It's their site. So that's what this is for. You simply click on homepage. You can see the CSS and HTML is here for the page layout and design. That's what this is here. It just gives them a lot of control. If you are going to mess with these, I do recommend, as well as content and pages, you always make a copy of it, save it in a text file or something, and keep it on your computer or somewhere safe in case something gets messed up. We do back up all sites, but it can take a while to get a backup restored. So it's good to have backups on your own as well, just in case, so you could quickly restore. So it doesn't take much to right-click, select all, right-click, copy, and then paste that into Notepad or something and save it. It's just really quick. And that way, if something does mess up, you have a backup. Very good thing to do. Okay. There's also elements. Elements are very, very handy. If you're going to use something over and over again on your site, like let's say a footer, your footer on your site is something that's used a lot. And this is the footer here. We have a footer element. That way we can use that footer over and over, and we only have to change it in one place to change it everywhere in the site. That's what elements are for. We've had agents use those for all kinds of things, from pixels to Facebook widgets and things like that as well. So that's what elements are for. Really handy. CSS style sheets. This is where your style sheets are located, and the order they're going to load in is here. And you can see if we click on a style sheet, you can tell it what layout to attach it to and if it's enabled. Okay, if you know a lot about style sheets, this is probably very self-explanatory and gives you a lot of control. This is a new style sheet to create new ones. And this is your JavaScript in case you're adding JavaScript. Same thing with JavaScript files as well. There you go. You can just create the JavaScript and then you'll have it on the site to use. So you can reference it from the style sheets or the pages if you wish. All right, preferences. All right, this is the website preferences overview. This is pretty much going to be overall stuff on the site. This is your email templates from when your site does a send to a friend on any listing page. Let's see if I can pick a listing real quick. Any listing page you'll see here, there is a send to a friend right here. That sends it to the friend. So if they want to share with a friend or something like that, they can do that. And this is the send to a friend template. Okay, your registrate, when a user registers on the site, that's what this is here. And these are just templates, and you can edit these templates if you wish. You clone it first, and then you can edit it. The clone is reasons because these are default templates, and that's why it's picking these up, and you can clone them, and then you can edit them. Okay. Canned email templates. You can create your own canned email templates. And why would you do that? You can do some really cool things with our template system. For example, if you go to a lead, jump real quick to a lead, you can click on that lead. And if that lead's email is valid, you can send an email to them. And this is something we can talk about down the road. So you can type in the subject, and if you want, you can load in the template. See, if there's a template here, you can load it in, and it will then load in your template, and you can then use it to send them, let's say, homes or things like that. The other thing that's really cool is your multiple listing snippet. You can just type in MLS numbers here, comma delineated. And then once you've done that, the system, let me see if I can pull up a few for you. I'll just copy one here. Let me just get a few and I'll show you. It's really cool how this works. Give me 1 second. Let me make a list of MLS numbers. Okay, so here I can just take and click on this, paste in the 2 MLS numbers with a comma, press OK. Now, if I preview this, this is what they would see. It would send it to them like that. So it nicely makes it nice, friendly, formatted, things like that to send it to them. All right, that's very handy to do. Okay. Now, really quick, I'm gonna go back to here, and we'll talk about that SMTP stuff that you saw as the red box when we did the send. This here, we will talk about that and integrated my email integration in just a little bit. That's what that falls under. Okay. So that's your canned templates. And you'll notice that there are, when you create a template here, you can make it global and a default. If you don't make it global, the agents, when they're logged in, will not be able to use it. They can create their own if they want, but they won't be able to use it if it's not the ones you create, if it's not global. Okay, that's something to note. My email integration. Okay, what this does is if you turn on SMTP, this means that whenever email is going out from your website, it will connect to your mail server to send the email out. I'm sure you have someone who set your mail up, an IT guy or something. They can set this up for you. But that is what this is for. You can use the default, which is mail going out from the server, not authenticating in, but sometimes those do go to spam. If you do it this way, they are more likely not to go to spam and they will get delivered properly. You can set it up. You can do a test. Make sure you always put the password in when you're doing the test. So if you want to do a test, once you set it up, every agent account and every admin account, as well as the site-wide, have their own SMTP settings if they wish. Okay. So every agent and every admin can have their own, as well as the site-wide settings will have their own for the site. And what happens is it will first try to use the agent's SMT. If it fails, it will then try to use the site-wide SMTP. If that doesn't work, it will then use the system's email. So it has redundancies. Just a note. Okay. Here is your site-wide settings. This is the actual global site-wide settings. The company info and some of the designs, the company info will show up at the bottom here. So if you ever need to change it, this one doesn't have it set up for this one, but it will then change the information here. And all you have to do is change it here to have it changed there. Most of the designs now do that. So that's how you can change that information at the bottom of the footer, is just by changing this. Email, SMS. This is our system will send text messages to the agents with new leads if this is set up. This must be set up first. You must put a default number in before the agents will work. If the agents put a text in and there's not one here, it still won't send out text. You have to have one here first. Okay, then the agents have one. This is because this is a redundancy. Okay, that's what that's for. This is your sending email we were talking about earlier, where you can actually set your default or use the SMTP. This is the site-wide one, so this is the global one, the one that everything. Usually, most clients have an info ad or something like that that uses this for. Here we have incoming email subjects. These are just remember the email templates here that we had? These are the subject lines. You can change those if you wish as well. And then there's some help and snippet help for those if you want for each one. This is your saved searches. I don't know if you want to do this every day. It will send you a summary of all the saved searches that went out. If you want, this can get a lot. And you can have it include more detail. It will pull from what it needs to with these email addresses, which are all for company. You have your own signature. This is a global signature here. Once again, this is the global. We're doing the site-wide setting, not the individual. The individuals will also have their own email signatures. Okay. So that's what this is here. And you notice everything gets timestamped who changed it last. Metadata. This is the global metadata for the site. Any page that doesn't have metadata would use this metadata or pull. You can have the right to pull it. So you can change it all here so you can easily use it on pages. That's what this is here. This is your registration forms. So your clients are registered on the site. This is how the form will be used. We also have social media login that we can also set up as well. But these are self-explanatory fields, I hope. If not, by all means, you can contact us and we'll help you with it. And this is just content above and below every registration form when it comes up to someone to register. And this is these are boxes that you can actually add to the form if you want or not, and require them or not. Okay. So this is the one for the registration, and this is the one when they're logging in. And that's what that is. Social login. This is our social login for setting that up. We do that. That's mostly for us to handle. And then this is your third party stuff here. Some of this is still used. Some Google's getting rid of some of it as well. Google Maps API key, definitely needed. You will want to register to get your Google API key. Google gives you $200 a month free currently. So if you register, that's used free. And plus you'll need an account set up anyway, so you can do verification and AdWords if you want to use AdWords. And of course, your sitemap submission. You have Zillow if you ever want to use that. People are quitting that now. There's your walk score in case you want to put the walk score key in. And Twitter, which is now X information. All right. This is the Zapier lead hook system. This is the more advanced stuff that we will do. This will be a video about Zapier and how it all works, all that kind of good stuff. We'll go down the road. I will be making a video on this. And but this Zapier is a system that allows you to share your contacts with third-party systems like Constant Contact, Follow Up Boss, things that work with Zapier, which is a numerous amount of them. So really powerful system here. And the new version, which is now almost done, will do more in-depth sharing. So it won't just, once a contact comes in, share that contact with Constant Contact or Follow Boss. As that contact add new favorites and save searches, it will also share that information as well. And so it's an ongoing share for that contact. Sitemaps, we went over a little bit at the beginning. It won't work on this particular thing, but sitemaps we talked about already. You definitely need to submit your sitemap to Google. You need to verify your site, then submit it to Google. It is now required for AdWords that you have a sitemap submitted in order to get things indexed. So make sure you do that. Okay, this is for us, so you don't need to worry about that. Administration, this is just how you manage your administrators. If you want to add them, create them, this is all test data, of course. But when you're creating a new account, you can create administrators, agents, bloggers, and lead coordinators. Bloggers can blog, lead coordinators coordinate leads. That's it. They don't have access to your bloggers do not have access to your leads or your page content. They can only blog. Okay. Agents can only manage their leads, and they can only manage their content, meaning their profile. Administrators can do everything. Okay. Lead coordinators, same thing. Lead coordinators can only manage leads. They cannot manage content or agents. They can only manage leads and assign leads to agents. Okay. That's about it. I did want to go over one more thing. There is a blog moderator section where you can actually moderate blogs and know what blogs are doing. So an example would be, let's say an agent is posting a blog with the blog lister. You can say, I want this person to manage blogs. Let's see if it's right here. It might be right here. Might have to turn it on here. Moderator, it is right here. You can put in who the blog moderators are going to be. Then what will happen is the agent will create the blog and post the blog, but the blog will not get posted right away. It will then send an email to the moderator. The moderator can review the blog, and the moderator can make comments and say, hey, you need to fix something here. The agent can then edit the blog. And once they edit the blog and save it again, it will come back to the moderator, and it will show them a comparison of what it was and what they changed it to. And they can decide to say no or yes. And once they do say yes, the blog will then be posted. So that's what the blog moderation is for. It's really, really helpful. Okay, I believe that's everything we've gone over. Obviously, these here just go to the front end, quick links. We do have a support system and a knowledge base that you can get to as well. And we have a YouTube channel, and that is actually at our knowledge base. Links to the third parties and all that kind of stuff as well. I'll take you to that. If you just go to here, I'll just bring it to there. If you go to info.dynamicidx.com, click on support knowledge base. Here it is. You can see there's third party, open house stuff required for everyone, every site, website backend, our video channel, and the billing system. So there are articles, and we are adding more and more videos. Okay, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed it.